Anyone who says the first movie was better is smoking hard crack. Rocks. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have a Tom Mikowski, donut or fetish. I'm sorry. Okay, there is no way the first movie was better than this. Okay, this did exactly what a sequel is supposed to do and just did everything better than the first movie. Okay, I would go as far as to say that if you haven't watched the first movie, you could just skip the first movie and watch this movie and you would still be fine. As long as you know that Sonic goes first, you wouldn't miss a fucking thing. Okay, literally. Okay, yeah, a few little minor things, but you would be fine. I knew within like the first 10 minutes that this was going to be better than the first movie. Like, I just felt it. Like, I'm not saying that as a Sonic fan, because like, if I was to like the first one more, I could say that, right? I like Sonic Adventure more than Sonic Adventure 2. If I thought the first one was better, I would say it. It's not like I must like a new thing more. Listen, within the first 10 minutes, I was like, they've nailed this. Okay, literally. I think the first movie was a good start. You know, it wasn't horrible. I'll give it like a 6.5. I said 6.5, but I'll say 6 for the first movie, honestly. But the second movie shits on it. Seriously. This video is sponsored by Wacky Bash, the craziest multiplayer knockout game ever made. Now this is a fun multiplayer mayhem game where each of the matches last a few minutes, so be fast and bash as many opponents out of the arena as you can. You can play the game instantly, no downloads required. Just click the link in the description and press the play now button to join the game and you're in. You can choose a character that suits your playstyle and each character has a unique special weapon and an ultimate attack. If you're fast, you can also collect gifts with awesome power-ups to gain an advantage over your foes. But beware, if you're not fast enough, someone else will grab them and you'll be in trouble. You can play solo or call your friends to the chaos via a unique invitation link. So make sure to check out Wacky Bash by clicking the link in the description below. No downloads needed. Yo, what's up guys? Premydaremy in the house, and yes, I'm literally in the house. I just got back from seeing the Sonic movie. I know some of you saw my April Fool's video the other day, but like, I filmed that before I went to go and see the movie. Like, just before I got out to go and see the movie, I filmed that because I didn't want to actually spoil anything. So I was like, if I just film without seeing the movie, there's no way I could accidentally spoil something, right? And I know some people got mad at me, but you know, it is what it is. Now you get the real thoughts, and these are going to be spoiler full. So if you don't want spoilers, well, you've come to the wrong place. I can't really give impressions without spoiling shit. I hate doing that. I hate trying to give impressions without saying anything. It's kind of annoying to me. I kind of have to just say what's going on. Everything in this movie was better than I can't think of one single thing that the first movie did better. The Tom and Sonic connections were there. Tom had less screen time, especially in the first half. They relegated him to the B plot with Maddie and the other people and all that shit. It was everything that needed to be done was done. They got less screen time, and then they eventually got more screen time towards the end as the B plot converged with the A plot. So it all came together in a nice way. There was some things that you wouldn't expect, like the chili dog situation, like the agents I'm talking about, like the gun shit, the way they pulled it off was crazy. I didn't see that one coming. And just in general, like everything was well put together. A few annoying kids jokes like Robotnik flossing and fart jokes, which was also in the first movie. I would say that everything was done better in the second movie. Knuckles, they killed it. It just did its thing. I love serious Knuckles, like overly serious Knuckles. Like, he only had like one or two maybe idiotic moments. Like, they wanted to show that he's a bit gullible, but overall, they played it in a way where Knuckles didn't feel like a complete idiot. He was just like this overly serious guy who was looking for the, you know, purpose in life and things like that. And I think they handled it pretty well. Tails was handled pretty well as well. Sonic's sidekick, not too much of a pussy, which is good because Tails is supposed to be a pussy, but he's not supposed to be too much of a pussy. He's not supposed to be like Force's Tail. He's supposed to have some pussy in him. Obviously not getting any, but he's supposed to have some pussy in him, but still be confident enough with Sonic's guidance to follow along and do some shit, and that's what he did. Sonic here was great as well, similar to what it was like in the first movie, but probably a bit more confident. I don't want to say a little bit more mature, because I mean, maybe he was a bit more mature, but not too much. So I'd already heard it before, but as I was hearing it in the movie, I was just thinking about like Kid Cudi murdered that song, like beautiful, like way better than Speed Me Up. Lovely song. Like every time I hear it, like I just want to move my feet. Cudi is good anyway, so I knew he was gonna kill that shit, but yeah. And another thing that I liked, it was a minor thing, but like Robotnik and Agent Stone's little bromance, like I was fucking with that. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Like the way they were like just so happy to like rekindle and like see each other for the first time, and I don't know how long it's been since the first movie, like canonically, but like them coming back together was really nice. And even when Robotnik got the Master Emerald, he was like, take me with you, and then he's like shoots a little bit of the beam and then brings him out, like I like that, okay? And they put the faces in the coffee cup, and then the Mean Bean coffee shop, like, the references were there. They had a reference to the first cutscene in 06, which I'm sure anyone who watches the movie who remembers the first cutscene in 06 will get what I'm talking about. The interactions between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were A1. Like, as a Heroes fan, like, my favorite Sonic game is Sonic Heroes, so Team Sonic means a fucking lot to me, okay? And when they came together, it was done so well, and they still had enough time for Sonic and Knuckles on their own without Tails, for them to like build their bond and go from enemies fighting to like actual friends. Everything just came together so well. The action scenes were great. I mean, the Super Sonic was good. They had a whole lore change there, because like usually the Chaos Emeralds kind of surround the Master Emerald, like in the actual like lore of the games. But here it's like the Master Emerald was there, and then it broke, and then it turned into the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and then Sonic went super with them, and then when he unwent super, then the Chaos Emeralds were repaired back into the Master Emerald by Knuckles. Like, maybe I'm forgetting my lore, but I always thought they were always separate. But it was like, there was a Master Emerald, and then it became Chaos Emeralds after it broke, and then they put the Chaos Emeralds back together, and it became the Master Emerald again. Well, it was a whole weird situation, but I guess the movie's gonna change some things, but at the end of the day, it all worked out for the best. I think Super Sonic was good, like, he looked fine, and they could have done a bit more with him. I guess, you know, what he had to defeat was just Robotnik and the Death Egg Roller, so it wasn't really that hard for him, so it wasn't really that tough. He just did it on his own. I mean, I would have loved some hero shit where they brought in Tails and Knuckles and some super bubbles or whatever, some shit like that, but they didn't go that far. Maybe the third movie? I don't know. But speaking of the third movie, we'll see the Shadow teaser. That shit's gonna be lit. Like, I saw Shadow, he looks great. He looks as you'd expect him to look if you've seen how Sonic looks and you know how Shadow looks in the games. The humor was there. I mean, it was better than the first movie's humor, and obviously they had more to work with because there was more Sonic characters. There was a lot more to bounce off of. Robotnik and Knuckles, like, situation was really entertaining to watch as well. And again, Knuckles' seriousness was so good. Like, Robotnik, like, Knuckles was like on the wall, or like, it was like he was climbing something, like he was trying to like not fall or whatever. Robotnik comes with like these little robot mechs or whatever, and Knuckles is like, you better not fuck me, I'll destroy these robots. He's like, oh, you're just making stairs for me to climb up. Oh, okay. Like, he's always on edge. I love that. Like, what they did with Knuckles is great for an origin story. Like, they really did Knuckles well. Like, I'm so happy with how Knuckles turned out. They did all the characters right. I believe that all the characters were done really well. Some of the reviews from before I watched the movie were saying that there wasn't enough Jim Carrey or something. Like, I don't know what they were talking about. He got plenty of screen time. I don't know who said that, but it was ridiculous. They said there was not enough Tom. Like, why you come to the movie to see Tom? Even if you were, there was plenty of Tom. The first half, they were relegated to a smaller B plot, but it did come together, and he did get tons of screen time in the end. So I don't even think if you're a Tom Donut Lord fan that you'd be upset here. Like, plenty of Tom. And in general, the action scenes are pretty energetic. You had the ice cap one, you had the one in the house, you had the one by the Master Emerald, and you had the final one, obviously. And all of them, I think, were done pretty well. I would say my favorite one was probably the one in the Master Emerald era, because that was the one where Sonic and Knuckles had I think, the best fight, and where Knuckles realized that Robotnik or Eggman was betraying him, and then Sonic saved Knuckles' life, and then Knuckles saved Sonic's. Like, oh, it was a whole great bonding experience. And even the little details, like when Robotnik stole the compass that they needed to go and find the Master Emerald, and instead of Sonic rushing to go and take it from Robotnik, he went to go and help Tails, who got hurt, and Knuckles like took note of that. Like, wow, like instead of going for the compass, he went for his friend, like, and he's like slowly like realizing that Robotnik might not be the ideal partner. Like, everything was well put together, well written. I can't even fault it. It wasn't overly kiddie. Like, I was afraid of that. Like, aside from that cringe flossing that Eggman did, I'm sorry, that was cringe. And even the side characters, like even the non-Tom the Cop side characters, even they had a little bit of interesting subplot. Like, there was a point where Sonic and Tails were like, you know, locked up by Gon, and then even Tom was in handcuffs, and Maddie and the other chick, was her name Wendy or whatever, had to go and like save them or whatever, and Tails like left his backpack, and the backpack had all sorts of like mech and shit in it, like tech or whatever, not mech, tech, and they had to like use the tech to like go and break in and save Sonic and Tails, but they didn't know what the tech did, so they were like just taking risks and shit. Like, even the human shit wasn't overly annoying. And I'm not saying I hate humans in Sonic games or whatever. I actually do like the humans, but these ones here were very tolerable. Like, it was better than the first movie, and literally I can't think of one thing the first movie did better. Seriously. I mean, I guess the first movie did have the backstory with Longclaw, but even that was recapped here. So again, if you missed the first movie, you could just watch this and you would be fine. The fight scenes were better here, there were more characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles came together, the Team Sonic show, oh my god, Like, this is exactly what you're supposed to do with a sequel. Take what worked from the first movie, build upon it, take what didn't work, and get rid of or reduce it. And that's exactly what they did here. I can't fault them, right? Obviously, it's not a perfect movie, they could have done more, but it's very hard to find, like, major flaws in the movie. I don't think there's any major flaw or any, like, plot indiscrepancy. I mean, okay, there's one, maybe there's one, I don't know. This is a nitpick, but, like, when they had the map and they lost the map, I'm thinking to myself, like, how did he just lose the map and be like, oh no, the map is lost, when he had a smartphone? It was like an iPhone that he plugged into the auxiliary, which must be an old iPhone because it had a headphone jack. I was thinking to myself, if you got a smartphone, why don't you just take a picture of the map and then you would have a backup of the map when they took it in the fucking club? And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll let that one go. But that was a very minor thing. But overall, man, like, they did everything they needed to do. I said that the first movie was a 6.5. And honestly, I could go down to 6 because I was being generous because it was the first big Sonic movie and you wanted to like it. But honestly, it was like a 6. This movie's bare minimum a 7. I will go as far as to say 7.5. I mean, I don't know what else they could have done to make it an 8. I mean, the next one's gonna have Shadow. It's gonna have probably more super characters like Super Sonic and Super Shadow. So that's gonna be crazy. And Tails and Knuckles will hopefully be there as well. So the third movie is gonna be really crazy, man. But like the second movie, yeah, at least 7.5. I could go higher, but I don't want to be too fanboy, right? Because obviously it is Sonic, so I'm gonna like it more because they've got more Sonic characters in it. But it's hard to like say what they should have done to make it better. But I just felt like it was a 7.5. It could be an 8 to some people. I wouldn't be mad at anyone for saying it's an 8 or something like that because it really was good. But obviously as a Sonic fan, I'm going to be biased. I'm gonna want to give it a higher score. I feel like a 7.5 is fair. It was at least a point better than the first movie, at least. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the movie if you've already seen it or you're looking forward to seeing it. I think they did everything right. They had the references, they had the good characterization, great voice work, Robotnik did his thing, all the characters did their thing, not too much of the human shit, everything came together really well, and great action sequences. I mean, you know, there's not really much else you can ask for. And of course, make sure to check out Wacky Bash, the link will be in the description. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure to check out the non-Sonic channel, the link will be in the description. It's just popping off over there. But that's all I have to say right now. So, Premy out. Still got popcorn in my beard. I get a bit reckless when I eat popcorn. It goes all over my fucking clothes and everything, man. I'm sorry.